Hi, friends. Welcome back. Empower Hour podcast. So today you're going to meet one of my best friends in life and comadre, officially, Diana Gonzalez.
Hi.
Welcome.
I know. I already want to cry. I don't know why.
It's going to be one of those episodes.
Yes.
So Diana and I have known each other just from a few years back when we were in law school.
Like 20 plus.
We graduated
almost.
a few years ago. And we'll get into that. But how I always start our podcasts are, Diana, 3 adjectives that describe you.
Oof.
Oh, I know. It's so good. My favorite.
3 adjectives. Let's see. A hustler, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Ambitious. And integrity.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay,
Those
good.
are the first 3 that came to mind.
Let's tell the people how we met.
We were set up on a blind date. Yeah,
Yes.
It was like my only blind date friendship, you know.
Yeah.
We had a mutual friend that knew us both,
Mhm.
obviously, and I thought they would be perfect together. These gals together would have a great time, you know. I think our first encounter was at California Pizza Kitchen, right
Yeah.
by school.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we kind of did the female checking each other out. Oh, I like your earrings.
I like your shoes.
And before you knew it, like 5 days later, we went to Vegas. Like, let's go.
We totally did.
Yeah, and I think we just hit it off. And later we found out that we had not only mutual friends, but that our parents
So
were
great.
mutually acquainted. And
Yeah.
I think I had been to your house
Probably.
without you being there.
Yeah.
You were at USC probably at the time.
Yeah.
And then I think you had been to mine. It was like, what? You know, we've known each other vicariously through other people, but
Yeah.
yes.
So a blind date friendship success.
Yes.
In the flesh, here we are.
Yeah.
So we went to law school together and we've graduated. Here we are living life. And I brought you on the show because I've seen your trajectory. I've seen what you're doing. You're a mother, you're a wife, you're involved in your community and so many other things. And you're now launching a business.
Yes.
A totally brand new business that came out of nowhere.
Dinner.
And so I know it's really important for people that watch this podcast to be inspired, to get ideas, to see how it's relatable no matter what industry you're in,
Right.
where you're starting, what you're interested in, where you're going, to see other people who are just doing it. They are just taking the leap of faith, saying yes, and going and executing, and not just continuing to vision board it, not continuing to think about it and what if and worry about
Pulling the trigger.
doing it. And so I'd like to talk about why you're doing it. First of all, how you got the idea, what really kicked you into gear to actually make you do it,
Right.
despite all the odds, and then where you are now. So talk to me a little bit about why the name of your company
Yes.
and where the idea comes from.
Okay, sure. So the name of the company is called Cactus Foods. I am working on consumer packaged goods, snacks, better for you snacks made out of nopal, cactus.
And nopal means cactus in Spanish.
Yes. And so the product itself is called Cactus Crunch. And we're just worked on my trademark. And so we'll be rolling out hopefully cactus chips that, you know, have less sugar, help you with inflammation because cactus is a secret superfood and very much part of the Latin American culture. We eat nopal like with eggs, with tacos,
So
you know. It's funny, you can find some of these products in Mexico and in Latin America. I just couldn't find it for the American consumer. And that really is what sparked the interest. Was my mom had gotten sick from her gut, and about maybe 15 years ago, I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroid. And so I'm supposed to, for the most part, follow an anti-inflammatory diet. And so I'm always looking for better for you snacks that you don't want to feel guilty about because, oh God, I ate the whole bag, you know?
Yeah.
And my mom was getting treatment for her gut in Mexico, and she came across all these products that were being recommended to her by her nutritionist. And that was one of the reasons that it sparked it. What maybe first initially inspired it is that back in the day, I used to work in television sales, and at that time for Canal 22, part of the Telemundo network, I was the director of paid programming. So everything that I dealt with was in products, you know, from the magic bullet to the hairstyler to the hair clip for men to the faja.
Yes.
And I loved on the receiving end, I would sell the airtime, but I would also receive a lot of the products, you know, it was fun. And I always thought like, gosh, I would love to be a owner of my own product. You know, I didn't know in what per se, like I didn't know if it was going to be in beauty or skincare. I just always had this lingering thought, like I would love to have a product one day. And, you know, fast forward, we're here now. I think having issues with my gut, had seen what my mom has gone through. I've just looked for healthier things. And we said, well, why not us? You know, like, let's try this out and see what steps we need to take. I was completely green to this business.
Never having launched a product before in your life.
Never having launched.
Officially.
No, nothing like that. But you know, going back to like having role models around you, my mom at the age of 42, 43, she did this very similar thing. You know, not to really reveal my age, but around the same age.
Yeah, it's okay.
My mom's opened Carl's Jr. franchise in Puerto Vallarta. And she was the first female to do that. And it was the year I took off for college. I'm the eldest of my siblings. And she's like, I'm starting my own business. Oh. And she put herself through Carl's Jr. training. And she had to fly to another country, lived there for a couple months on her own without my dad. You know, they've been married 42 plus years. And she had to figure it out in an environment that wasn't, you know, a different way of doing business in Mexico than it is in the States, right? So I was always in awe of that she did something later in life. She her exact words were like, it's my turn, you know. And I was raised with entrepreneurial parents, and so I always knew I was capable of doing it, but I just didn't know the what, the when, the how.
Right.
During COVID, fast forward, I put myself through food manufacturing courses. So I was taking online classes, learning about the process. I think us as females, and I'm certainly guilty of this, is that you think you have to have it all figured out, right? Like, I can't launch this business until I'm at Z and I'm barely on step A. But I disagree with that now. You know, it's like you have one life to live. And I do feel God designed us for greatness. And if we don't take those risks, like, what's the worst that can happen? You know, you have to have those conversations with yourself all the time. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, I lose money. Yeah, I lose money, but I can gain it back.
That's right.
Right? I know I can get a job. I know I'm qualified. At the end of the day, I just work hard. You know, even if I didn't have the degrees, the titles of this, I work hard. I show up. I raise my hand, you know. Okay, but I lose some time and money, but I feel you'll be more regretful not having tried.
100%.
Right?
100%. So there's a lot you said that I want to unpack, but in addition to that whole thought process and just go for it and why not us and it's my time now, there's that thought process as a budding business owner, but then you're also married with children.
Yes.
And so how does that compound the situation?
Sure.
Because I can hear a lot of people watching this saying, oh, but you don't understand, Diana. I have kids and I have responsibilities and I'm married and I have to do lunch and school run and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Right.
So tell me about your family life and how that works into it.
Yeah. No, it's not easy, for sure. It's not easy. But then anything good in this life isn't easy, right? I always tell my kids, you think an Olympian got a gold medal because they just showed up? No, they worked for that gold medal. How do you get an A on a test? You study, you practice, you know? So anything good in this life takes a lot of effort. It's certainly a juggling act. I have 2 small children. Been married now, oh my gosh, 13 years. Been with my husband for 17. I have a very good partnership in him. He really encouraged me to take the risk. I left my full-time job, which was in nonprofit development, you know, in sales. I've always been in sales. And he was like, you know, explore this. Like, we can handle it if you want to explore it. But life happened. Yeah. COVID happened. Oof. My kids were at home, and that put the pause button on everything. And then I started going back to my old jobs because there was so much uncertainty, right? There was so much uncertainty with the market. And it was like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Should I really have quit my job? So I actually went back to work while still embarking on this dream, by putting me in COVID.
With the kids home.
Having the kids at home. I had a preschooler and a kindergartner at the time.
My.
I couldn't send them to the room and be like, do your homework. They couldn't read. I had to sit down and work with them and so forth. But for me, what works well is compartmentalizing, is saying, okay, in this hour, I'm going to work on personal things, whether it's mom stuff. And this hour, I'm going to work on I help my husband with his company, which has also opened some doors for me. And we'll talk about that in a second. And then on this, I'm going to work for the companies that actually paying me. And then I'll get to Cactus Foods. And sometimes it means sacrificing, right? Instead of hitting Netflix at 8 o'clock when the kids go to bed, I would take my course. I would read a book on CPG, on consumer packaging. And
to do all that, you're doing all that, but you're clearly not doing it all on your own. I always talk about relying on a village.
Yes.
Because we can't. We've been taught as women,
right,
this fallacy that you can have it all.
Yeah.
Work-life balance. It's like, well, that's open to a lot of interpretation.
Right.
And so for you, I say, yeah, you can, but it's not without a village. It's not without a team. It's not without help. Who do you rely on? Like, outside of a COVID life, in normal life, what does your team look like to allow you to compartmentalize?
Sure. Well, I would say first and foremost, my family, my brother and my sister-in-law that work at Google helped me with like the design, with getting my idea into like, I need a conceptual, I need a vision, I need like a lookbook. Like when I talk to people about this, how can we articulate it in a visual? And they helped me with that. My sister obviously comes with a lot of creativity, and she's been a big help. My husband, as I was sharing, he's much more the risk taker than I am. And so I did need that little push, and that encouragement. Like, we got this, you could do it. It's nice hearing that. But he's in corporate real estate. Most of his clients are in food manufacturing spaces. So there was a lot of clients of his that were willing to jump on the phone with me. Let's just explore this. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. Would this be good? Do you see this hitting? Is there a market for this? One of his clients was like, we'll buy the name right now.
Whoa.
I was like, whoa. I haven't even sold anything. Hold on. I'm not selling anything penny cents on the dollar.
Good.
And then, of course, like I was mentioning earlier, having my parents being so entrepreneurial, that's a big mirror for me. Like, gosh, you're still taking risks at this age. And so let's do it. And I do have a housekeeper that helps me with the kids, not during COVID, but, that lends itself to, I don't need to worry about laundry this minute.
Right. I
can make a conference call and, that kind of stuff. But it's still a juggling act, and they're long days, but I think the reward is so worth it,
So how do you, like any business owner, especially when you're launching, but even when you're in business, the what if, the fear, I'm going to fail, the naysayers, comparing yourselves to other people that are either at your level or beyond you, and all of that fear and insecurity that comes naturally with being a launching business. How do you walk through that? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, self-doubt is just, I guess, a part of life, I think it's just I try to stay in my own lane, I really focus on my own path and my own road, because I feel if you get distracted, looking right, looking left, what is she doing? What is he doing? You're bound to get into an accident. Like, if I could put it in that type of metaphor.
Really good.
I look at, like, I'm trying to hit this peak. I got to get there. That's the destination point. I'm going to focus on my own lane. It may take me a little longer than others because I have my children, because I have other things that I need to do, but I'll get there. I know I'll get there. It's having that persistence. And also forgiving yourself when you have bad days.
Yeah. Because
we all have bad days where you're just like, oh, screw it, or I didn't get to it. I didn't get to it today. And I'm investing all this money and I didn't get to my to-do list or what I had planned on doing. I have to forgive myself. I'll hit it harder the next day. Maybe my children needed me more that day for whatever reason. Sure. You have somebody sick at home or you get called from the school. Mm-hmm. And I just have to like, but the point is persist. Like, don't lose sight of that goal.
That's right.
And, for me, I am a spiritual person, so I surrender a lot of my worries to God. Like, take care of it. I trust in your plan. And I'll just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And that has worked well for me. And before you know it, you blink and you've made a lot of progress.
You really have.
By taking small little baby steps and taking it in chunks and not getting overwhelmed with I needed to have done all this. Right. Like, just accomplish these 2 things for that today and do it well.
And that's good enough.
And that's it. That's good enough for today,
That's it.
And tomorrow
Keep it pushing.
Exactly. Yes.
So let's talk about the product itself, because I think it's so interesting that it's prevalent in Latin American countries, the cactus. And it's a superfood for sure.
Yeah.
Break it down for people who aren't familiar with cactus.
Yes.
The people who aren't Latinos that would not be familiar. Why is it a superfood? And specifically your products, what are you gonna make?
Yeah, well, it's exciting because I've been educating myself. Right now, I'm doing what they call benchtop formulations. So I'm working with food scientists to really, I was working outside of my kitchen first, and we had hired a chef.
So you were actually making the things in your kitchen.
I was working with a chef in his kitchen.
Okay.
Let's not get my plates dirty. No, just
involved.
Kidding. I was still involved. Yeah, we were working out of his test kitchen. And, working with the masa and cactus flour.
What's
masa? So masa is corn flour, right? Gluten-free. And we were working with actual cactus pads, the way you see
like the flat leaves with the thorns.
A flat leaf with the thorns, and we were deveining it. It comes out like a gooey substance.
Where do you find a cactus?
So they actually sell the pads like in Latin American markets, like La Vallarta markets, and you can find the nopal pads because, as we were sharing, it's part of the diet in the Hispanic market, So we were working with that and making it into what they call like a slurry, like a green juice. Oh. And then dehydrating it and then creating a tortilla.
How do you dehydrate it?
Well, you mix it with flour, with the corn flour. You kind of dry out all the gooiness, if you will. It has like aloe vera properties. Yeah. But cactus, for the most part, eaten alone, it has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, good for your gut, can lower cholesterol. And it's interesting that in Mexico, the way they market it is for diabetics because it's lower in sugar. So it's just better for you overall.
Yeah.
And but now I'm working with actual food scientists to back into the ingredients, the label, right? We want it to be high on fiber. We want it to be low in calorie. We don't want it to be too many carbs. Just a good for you snack. I'm a snacker.
Yeah. So we have a lot of kids around all of us. And so it's healthy for the kids.
Yes. We have a lot of SKUs that we want to do.
What
right?
are SKUs?
So different product lines we would like to do. Like the ideas I have so many ideas.
Oh, I love this.
I don't want to share them all today.
I can't wait to see all of them.
But what we want to come out with first will be like your standard tortilla chip, but made out of nopal. So it'll be like a salt chip. And then the second one will be a spicy version because
I can't believe this doesn't exist already.
Kick in our life.
Here,
it does.
Here.
Well, it's not prevalent here.
Okay.
It's not prevalent here. I do have some sister-brother competimates that doing like cactus tortillas. Yeah, competimates. I do have some here already.
Interesting. I've never heard that word.
But I think it's good. I think there's enough for all of us to go around, number one.
100% always.
Number two, they're already doing a great job of educating the consumer, especially someone that isn't familiar with cactus, on the health benefits. And it's also really sustainable for the environment because cactus doesn't require very much water. And you only need to harvest it like twice a year, and they grow, and it's not it's environmentally friendly. And so we're gonna hopefully come out with the chips, a salty and a spicy version.
Is that the first product?
The first two products, yeah.
What's the timeline on that? Like,
we're hoping March, before March. Yeah. God willing.
I hear a product launch party.
Yes. I'm like, yes. So, from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah. Okay. So you're doing that, and then one of my favorite topics is mom guilt. And
Yes.
we've already touched on it a little
Yeah.
bit. And so you've talked about how to navigate launching your businesses at the other. Mom guilt. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it exists, right? I don't know.
Well,
I know
I don't
we can
agree.
ignore it. I know how you feel on the subject, but I guess I have to always prioritize myself and be like, what am I doing all this for? And I am doing it for, yes, my happiness and for my dream, but it's for the betterment of being able to provide for my children and also to be an example to them.
Yes.
Like they're asking me, when are the chips coming out, Mom? They're excited about it. And so I want them to see that, yes, Mom works. Yes, we should go after it, take risks. I definitely want to teach that to them, but there are my first priority, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my family is my first priority. So that's why I was saying, sometimes I have to forgive myself that I don't get to the work day the way I would have liked.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't get to it. It's just, life is fluid.
Yeah.
You got to roll with the punches and just pick yourself up by the bootstraps and be like, all right, well, tomorrow I'll just hit it harder.
Try it again.
But yeah, no, I think my kids are proud of me and I feel that. And I think they're excited for me. And I want to be able to teach them to take risks and not to be afraid to fail. Because I think that's where we all get stuck. And
That's
I
the
see it
biggest
with
fear.
my kids,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Biggest fear.
Like, oh, but what if I mess up? So what?
So what?
We mess up, we try again. And then you know what? In messing up, that's how we learn. We have to make mistakes to say, well, I won't do that again. Or let me tweak this.
Yeah.
And I'll do it better. I think that's what life's about. And I want to teach them at an earlier age than what I learned. Like fall.
Fail,
but try at something.
That's it.
That's what I always tell them. Like, laziness is not accepted in our household. At all. But mistakes, okay, that's part of life. Just come to me, I'll help you. But try. Don't tell me you didn't try.
That's right.
Because we do only have one life to live, And now I feel like, why didn't I do this even sooner? Right?
Yeah, but it's its own good time.
Yes.
And so it's meant to happen now. So, I mean, I know we could go on, and there's a lot to unpack. And I'm going to have you back after the product has launched, and I'm going to taste it here.
We'll do a sampling. Yes. Yeah, I love that.
But thank you for giving us just an intro to what you're doing and sharing how you get through just going for it, executing. Just try. Failure is the way.
Yes.
Keep going. And you can have kids, you can have responsibility, you could have life.
Yes.
But you're going after something that you believe in and can work.
Right.
And so I'm here for all of it. And I love you.
Thank you.
And I thank you for being here. And how can people connect with you?
Thank you. Okay, my shameless plug. Thank you
Do
for
it.
saying that.
Plug away.
No, we have a website, www.cactus-foods.com. And people can sign up to learn more about where the product's going to be released and when it is. Again, it's a work in progress. But if you want to stay in touch with us, go onto the website. We also have an Instagram page and a LinkedIn, cactus-foods.com.
Foods, plural.
Yes.
So everybody, please do follow it because it's an interesting journey to watch anyway. And it's going to be delicious and it's healthy for you and your children. And we always want the best for the children. So I love you.
I love you.
Let's go grab lunch right now.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.